Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk about Bronfenbenner's ecological system. Bronfenbenner's ecological system includes five systems rather. It includes microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and chronosystem. But firstly, I'm going to talk about microsystem. Microsystem usually talks about the core surroundings of a child's development, which include family, peers, friends, and school. For example, if a child associates themselves with learners who often get good grades in school, that learner is likely to get encouraged and inspired as well, so that they can also perform well academically. But also, if that child associate themselves with learners who are often mischievous or maybe lack discipline, that child is likely to take that route as well. So in this system, a child can be affected positively or negatively. The second one I'm going to talk about is mesosystem. Mesosystem talks about the interconnection between macrosystem. For example, this now talks about the relationships that the child has based on their surroundings. For example, the relationship a child has with their mother because of she's her mother, she gave birth to her. The relationship a child has with their teacher at school, the learner and teacher relationship at school, because of education is the one that brought them together. So it talks about those core relationships. For example, cousins as well. Cousins who often like to spend time with each other are often influenced by maybe parents who often visit each other and stuff. The third one I'm going to talk about is exosystem. Exosystem is whereby the child is not directly involved, but then it also affects them. For example, if a parent loses their job, that child is going to be affected in so many ways, because that would maybe often force them to change location, or maybe move from where they used to live, change of lifestyle, and probably change of schools because because of the job loss. So this often affects a child indirectly, not directly. The child is not affected directly, but then what is happening outside them always gets a way to affect them. The fourth one I'm going to talk about is macro system. Macro system talks about values, beliefs, morals, principles, culture, socio-economic status. For example, in a lot of cultures, they believe that young males should learn to be independent from a very young age. They should do stuff for themselves. They should do the job hunting. They should do a lot of things themselves. Not a lot of parental involvement is there, especially at the ages of 16 and above. So their children are often given independence from an early age, where else in other religions it's a very different story. Parents support and give guidance to their children up until they are old men. The last one I'm going to talk about is chronosystem. Chronosystem is time related changes. For example, death of a parent. Death of a parent can affect a child in many ways, because grief and mourning can take a lot of time. So that would often lead a child to having that would often lead a child into having stress, maybe or maybe even isolate themselves from peers at school, often quiet. So yes, that's it. The second one I would like to make an example also is COVID-19. COVID-19 affected everyone, but mostly it affected children because they had to wear masks in public places. They were not allowed to play with their peers as they usually do. They were often separated in classrooms by 1 meter or 2 meters apart. So that basically affected a lot of children, because they are used to playing without having mandatory or steps to follow, or maybe a sort of rule. So that affected them as well, because they also were not allowed to play outside as they used to before the COVID-19 era. The last one I would like to make an example of is parental divorce. This can also affect children, because now children will be forced to somehow maintain relationship between both parents, where else it will also be difficult for them as well, because they're still young. They're still understanding themselves, they're still developing themselves, yet they still now have to balance on how to maintain the relationship that they have with their parents. Yeah, that was my clear understanding from Bronfenbenner's ecological system. Thank you for listening.